Hello everyone, today I'll be making some Liberian rice bread. I'll be using 2 boxes of cream of rice. Make sure it says cream of rice on it and not cream of wheat. And I'm using the gluten-free, by the way. And I'm using baking powder as one of the ingredients. My pure vanilla extract, I got this from Walmart. You can get it from Walmart, I believe any grocery store. And then my baking soda, also from Walmart. And I'm using my nutmeg. It's the ground nutmeg. You can also get it from Walmart as well in the baking aisle. And then my vegetable oil and my ginger that I have already peeled. And then my bananas. Make sure the bananas are ripe, okay? I'm going to be using my Hamilton Beach mixer to mash my bananas and also mix my ingredients. I believe I got this from Walmart, not Walmart, but Macy's. But you can also find this at Walmart as well. But then some people uses the potato masher to mash their bananas, so you can use either one. And then my peeler for my ginger, or you can use knife. And then I have my whisk for my eggs. And then I have my grater. I believe that's what it's called for my ginger. And then these are the measurement cups that I have in my measurement spoons I'll be using. And then you will need 3 eggs. And then I'm starting up with the dry ingredients. So I'm starting with the cream of rice. I'm using again 2 boxes of it. So 2 boxes of cream of rice. Make sure it says cream of rice and not cream of wheat. I don't know if they have this in the bigger boxes. I've always just been lucky with the smaller boxes. So I usually just get 2 boxes of the smaller boxes. But anyway, yeah, you'll empty all of that in your mixing bowl, as you can see me doing. And then after that, we're going to move on to with our baking powder. So I'm using 1 teaspoon of baking powder. And then I'll be using the Modern salt. I'm using just 1 spoon of it. Doesn't have to be too full, but yeah, just 1 spoon. And then once you add the salt in, you're then going to use the next thing, which is the nutmeg. I'm using 2 teaspoons of the nutmeg. Okay, just 2 teaspoons. The measurement just depends on how many boxes of cream of rice you're using. The next thing that I'm adding in is my baking soda. I'm adding 2 teaspoons of baking soda. And with how the measurement goes, if I were to be using 1 box of cream of rice, then I would be adding just 1 teaspoon of baking soda. But anyway, I'm now going to be adding some sugar in there. I'm not adding like a full cup of sugar because we're going to be using bananas, and bananas are already too sweet, and so we don't want to add too much sugar in. So just add just a little bit of sugar, like half a cup of sugar, and you'll be good. The next thing that I'm moving on to is mixing my wet ingredients. I'm starting by peeling my bananas and putting them in the mixing bowl. I'm using 10 bananas total, so I'm using 2 boxes of cream of rice, which is why I'm using just 10 bananas. But if you were to be using 4 boxes, then you'll use 20, or if you're using just 3 boxes, then you'll use 15 bananas. Make sure your bananas are ripe, okay? The riper your banana, the better result you get from your rice bread. So the next thing that I'm moving on to is to use my potato masher to mash the big chunks of bananas. Once I mash the big chunks, it will then be easier to use the mixer to just get that smooth texture that I'm looking for. Anyway, if you don't have a potato masher, I believe you can use spoon also, or just take your time to cut the bananas into small pieces when you're peeling them. But yeah, once you're done with that, and then I'm moving on to my mixer. I'm using my Hamilton Beach mixer to just now mix it all up and just, get that smooth texture again that I am looking for. So with the mixing, you want to get the bananas as smooth as you want them to be, so you don't get any type of big chunks into your bread. But yeah, Hamilton Beach mixer helps. But if you don't have a Hamilton Beach mixer, also just use the potato masher. That works too. It's just gonna take a little bit longer, but just do with what you have. So now the next thing that I'm going to do is to prepare my eggs. I'm using 3 eggs, and I'm using a little bowl to crack them in. And then after I crack them into the little bowl, I'll use my whisk to just whisk the egg to mix them up. You can use a fork or a spoon to mix your eggs if you don't have a whisk. But anyway, after I do this, then I will then move on to the next ingredient on the list. All right, so here is the next ingredient on the list for our rice bread, which is the ginger. And I'm using the grater to grate my ginger. I'm using the smaller side of the grater so I can get like really smaller and smooth pieces from the ginger. I don't want no chunky or big pieces of the ginger into my rice bread, which is why I'm using the smaller size so I can get like a really smooth texture of the ginger. Anyway, if you don't have a grater to grate your ginger, you can cut your ginger into smaller pieces and just use a blender to blend it. So the next thing that I'm going to be doing now is to add in some milk in our mixing bowl with the other ingredients. I'm going to be using 3 cups of milk, and the milk that I'm using is whole milk. I'm using whole milk. I believe you can use any kind of milk, but I just like to use the whole milk because it's very creamy. I don't know. I just like it. I just like the whole milk. But you can use any type of milk you feel comfortable using. So my next ingredient I'm going to be adding in is my vanilla extract. I got my vanilla extract from Walmart, and I believe you can get it at any grocery store if you look in their baking aisle. So, but yeah, that's where I got mine from. I'm using 2 teaspoons of the vanilla extract for my rice bread. For the vanilla extract, it also give the rice bread a really good smell and also a good taste. And now I just added in my eggs, and next I'm going to be adding in my ginger. With the ginger, I love ginger in rice bread. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. But I grated 1 teaspoon of ginger. If you are a lover of ginger, you can add a little bit more, but I just like to use a teaspoon of ginger. And now I'm adding in my vegetable oil. I'm using 1/3. The cup is 1/3 the measurement. I'm adding in 3 cups of it. And then now I'm using my whisk to just mix everything up. I added in all the ingredients in the bowl. And I'm just mixing everything together, the bananas and all the other ingredients you saw me put in. And then once I'm done mixing up, I would then be adding it to the dry ingredients, which is my rice bread that I mixed earlier on. But yeah, make sure it's really smooth. Again, I'm using the wooden spoon to just make sure there's no lumps, there's no extra hard banana left there. But anyway, I'm just adding in the wet ingredient now and just mixing everything up with my rice bread. And once you get it all smoothly like mix, you can just get your aluminum bowl. I'm using the medium size one, so I'm using 2 of them. Usually, if I had a big one, I would just use one big one, but I'm using 2 aluminum bowl to just bake my bread in. You want to put oil in the bowl if you have the oil that sprays, you can do that, but I'm using my vegetable oil since I don't have the other one, and just spray the bowl so that way the bread doesn't stick to the pan when it's in the oven. And then after you do this, you're then going to, while you're doing this, you can go ahead and preheat your oven to, I did mine to 350. I preheated my oven to 350, and I'm going to bake this bread for about 1 hour. So if you're baking maybe at 400, then you can maybe decrease the time to maybe 45 minutes to bake it. But I'm using 350. I'm using 350 to bake my bread. So yeah, keeping it in. But yeah, here's the final result. This is how my bread turned out. It looks not too dark. It's not too brown. And it's also not too white. This is just the perfect color. It just look really beautiful. Just cutting some piece out so I can show you guys how it look. It's not too oily, and it's not too soggy, it's not too soft. So I know some people like their rice bread to be a little bit more darker than this, but this is how I like mine. But if you want your rice bread to be a little bit darker, then you can keep it in the oven for a little bit more. Feel free to try my recipe, and please don't forget to hit the like, comment, and subscribe button. Thank you for watching.